I want to tell you a little bit more about myself and what I believe beyond the process issues of dialogue and opening up and making a more transparent government. What do I stand for besides these process issues, in other words? Well, I'm very much in favor of making a basic challenge to militarism. I think that's the thing that ruins our country more than anything else. Well, there's a close second, and that is the political economy, the way that we've organized ourselves economically and financially. So on the military front, I remember hearing Barack Obama in 2008 when he was campaigning for the presidency. If he said it once, he said it 100 times. He said, I not only want to get us out of Iraq, I'm going to change the mindset that got us into Iraq, quote unquote. All right, well, I'm ready to start that work of changing the mindset because we've got to close down the 750 military bases that America runs all over the world. We have to close down the wars that we're fighting and call them by their proper name, and that is police actions, and get legitimate constabulary on the site. In other words, a legitimate police and court system in Afghanistan and everywhere else in the world where there are those kinds of troubles with violence and terror, including the United States of America. The thing that makes the home most secure is to have a trustworthy police force. And wherever you look, especially in America, look at what's happening in Chicago today with the torture, the history of torture by police of poor black men over a period of years, massive numbers of tortures. That's what is most important to real security, personal security, home security, is to have a police force out there that's not taking money because they're making money under the table with drugs, or because they're collecting protection money, or any of the other millions of forms of corruption that a police department can engage in. We need a police department that is highly monitored, that everyone looks at and examines and tests and makes sure they're doing their job right. And police will be recruited in a better way. That is to say, we'll look for qualities, personal qualities of peacefulness and stability, instead of looking for to make killers out of the way our army does out of men and women. So that militarism ruins everything. So it sends us home people with PTSD and other brain injuries that for the rest of their lives and the rest of their families' lives is going to make things really miserable. We're making ourselves miserable with these wars, let alone what we're doing to people in Afghanistan, Palestine, and so many other places. Well, we're not in Palestine militarily, but there's another problem that I want to face as a basic issue, and that is how we deal with the system of individual nations. 200 individual nations around the globe makes for an awful mess, because at the head of most of those governments are aggressive, corrupt officials who will engage in wars, engage in frauds, engage in any form of corruption just in order to stay in power. This power is truly addictive, and people become presidents and prime ministers largely out of very irrational ways of choosing them. So we end up with a system of 200 nations, ill-governed, all in competition with each other. Over what? What's the point? Let's come together. Let's hold a global merger. That's my international policy. There will be no more international. We'll all come together slowly, gradually, and then we will govern ourselves by region. It'll be as local as possible that we will be governing ourselves, but we cannot put up with a system of nations compete militarily, economically, with horrendous consequences as we see to our environment and to our economy. So third, I'd like to talk about the economy and how to restructure it, because God knows it needs restructuring if there is a God. We have to look at the way that we allow private bankers, for example, to take what limited resources there are and invest them making private decisions